People play 76 now, though. Yeah, and people are into cock and ball torture. What do you want? Okay, let's clear these links. U.S. approves CRISPR gene editing to treat sickle cell disease. Nice. That's pretty cool. How old is the person they're doing it on? 2 milestone treatments. Oh, they're approving the treatments in general, not just like this is a specific case. Okay. SNP patient's DNA. How does the gene editing work? I know how it works because I'm so smart. Let's not look at it. Gene therapy treatments can cost millions. Experts have raised concerns they could remain out of reach from people who would benefit the most. The other treatments approved by the FDA. Okay, my understanding of how this works is basically there's a little tiny nanobot in your body, except it's not a nanobot. It's a body part thing. There's a little cell in your body, and their job is to be a little beep boop machine that trims DNA. And basically, you can program the beep boop little body robot part cell to trim DNA in a cool, interesting way that can have specific outcomes. Something like that. Nice try. I think that's close enough. Because individually trimming and rearranging the DNA in every cell in a human body is impossible and will never be possible. But you can program a part of the human body to trim itself because you have like trillions of little body machines. Apparently, they're going to charge around $2 million a pop for this treatment, so there's that. That's not surprising. We're talking like state-of-the-art gene therapy, and this is the first time it's being done as a treatment. Guys, that's not surprising. It'll get cheaper. Like this is literally like the cutting edge of science. It obviously isn't going to roll out being like $5 at your local Walgreens. You know, this is for right now only a very tiny number of doctors. No, Vosh, this tech is super cheap. You can do it yourself. Yeah, like in a vacuum, but not on a living, already grown person with specific outcome. No. The fact that CRISPR tech is like relatively accessible as a kit does not mean the process of like specifically curing a disease with it isn't. It's super, super cheap. Well, then do it in the house yourself, I guess. Like, yeah, the CRISPR is cheap, but the treatment is not. That like surgeries are expensive, but you can get scissors for nearly free, you know? Like the tech for surgery can be pretty cheap. Excuse me, how is this done in your house? You can get CRISPR, a CRISPR lab kit for like what, 10K? How much? CRISPR kit cost. DIY bacterial. God damn, is it already down to a couple hundred? I remember back when it was like 10K. Yeah, it looks like a couple hundred. DIY bacterial gene engineering CRISPR kit. But this is, again, like this compared to gene editing surgery is the equivalent of like, you can buy a surgery kit for $100, but that doesn't mean getting a heart transplant. It costs $100. I don't know, Superjet guys, they're somewhere. Anyway, the cost will go down over time. It should be pretty cool. Get rid of some obvious genetic diseases, you know? Oh, for sure, like lab work, yeah, because you have to send in that stuff in a lot of cases. Benjamin, it's not 99.9% profit margins. Please stop. Okay? I promise you, I know for an absolute fact, just because going in and get like, hey, I want to treat my sickle cell disease, they don't just like pull out a $200 like CRISPR testing kit on you and do a thing. And like, that's not, I promise you it's more complicated than that. Is this not sus, getting rid of genetic diseases? Would you not want to get rid of genetic diseases? I mean, a surgeon could use scissors to cut out your heart if they wanted to. I think this is a good start, you know, as Bro is on Team Cancer. I don't think CRISPR could ever fix cancer, right? Because the whole point of a cancer cell is that they're cells gone rogue that grow unrestricted and sap resources. If they're broken cells, I don't think you would be able to do the kind of reprogramming that could stop the... I guess I don't know how that'd work exactly. Like, because then it seems like the process that you would need to stop them would be broken internally anyway. Like, you wouldn't be able to rely on that. Could Nazis use this to create Ubermensch? Why would they need to? I'm already alive. No, we're a pretty long way away from genetically enhanced super soldiers, okay? Sickle cell anemia is a pretty, feel like pretty treatable, right? We could theoretically design our DNA to have better self-correction. Yeah, that'd be pretty dope. I think that'd be cool. You know, conceptually. Yeah, cancer is complicated. Remember when Joe Biden promised to, like, eliminate cancer? It's very funny. Yeah, thanks, Joe. how do you make the distinction between this and curing degeneracy? You could say this about literally any medical procedure, like any medical procedure that does anything to anyone. You could be like, what's the difference between that and like the, you know, I don't like, because sickle cell anemia isn't degeneracy, it's sickle cell anemia. Like I'm pretty sure that as with regards to like the responsible purview of gene editing, I think that you could make a pretty clear distinction between like these genes will cure your genetic illness and like, you know, these genes will make you have blonde hair and blue eyes. If you're asking about like the potential for future designer babies, that's already kind of ethically on the table. Like people are already talking about that. There are already companies that are trying to get in on that. Like, do you want your kids to have like big piercing blue eyes? Do you want your kids to have like not have like recessing hair or whatever, or any bullshit like that? That's already on the table, yeah. And like there are going to be issues with that. But for right now, if it's just curing sickle cell anemia, like that's pretty straightforwardly good, you know? What about deleting the existence of people with stuff like Down syndrome? This wouldn't delete the, first of all, when fetuses are found that they'll turn into kids with Down syndrome, oftentimes they're aborted. That would be deleting them. This would just, first of all, this can't remove the chromosome. So this can't do that. But if you're asking like, could this potentially make it so people don't have crippling intellectual diseases or like developmental disabilities in the future? Then yeah, sure, fine, okay. Like, is that bad? It wouldn't, that doesn't kill them. It just means that it doesn't happen. Like, there's a pretty big difference between aborting a fetus that will grow up to have Parkinson's disease and just making it so the fetus won't have Parkinson's disease. Like, wouldn't that be good? Like, imagine growing up and then at 14 you get Parkinson's and you're suffering and your parents are like, yeah, we could have paid for a procedure that would have made you not have that, but we thought that would be erasing your identity. I don't know how well you'd take that at the time. What about autism? We don't even know what genes cause autism. Why does it have to turn into a eugenics conversation every time? Like, hey, really cool new medical tech, guys. Really, wow. That could help a lot of people. You know, really cool. See how this cell looks like a sickle? That's not good. And everyone in chat immediately is like, Vosh chat is like, yes, I understand this knife can be used to chop vegetables, but what if somebody stabbed somebody else? True! Good question. That's what the British ask themselves every day. Because sickle cell predominantly affects African Americans? Yeah, isn't sickle cell anemia like a West African thing because it was a way of dealing with like malaria or some shit? What is that bad? Like, is that bad to fix that? They probably don't want it. Well, they probably can't afford it. I'm pretty sure people with sickle cell anemia would happily take a treatment that would just get rid of the sickle cell anemia. Wait, is the position of people in chat that black people want sickle cell anemia? I don't understand. KK, I don't think this is a hard line right here. Well, it does prevent malaria. I don't think many people get malaria in the United States. I think we have better ways of dealing with malaria for the most part. Yeah, time traveling back to the 1980s to tell Ronald Reagan to tell the CDC to not study AIDS, because by curing AIDS in infected people, they would actually be committing eugenics against the degeneracy of people with HIV, and that the authentic thing to do is to let them live with it. No, Mr. Reagan, do not, Mr. President. All right, we're moving on to something new that chat can irritate me on.